Hey everyone, it's Ray with Crazy Calling. Thank you for joining me on my channel where we talk about tips and tricks for an enjoyable ministry. Please excuse my background. I am in the middle of moving offices to have my lovely hanging cords. We're trying to figure it out, but you know how it goes. Please know this is not going to be an overly edited series. I'm going to try to get them out like once a week, and so therefore I just don't have a lot of time, like you all don't, to do the editing and all of that. So I'll just put them together as best I can and get them out to you. So just put them together and get them out to you as quick as I can so that they're helpful. So excuse the shoddy editing for this series. Ain't nobody got time for that every week. So I was going to do this year, if I was moving, which I was hoping I wasn't, and I'm not, but I was going to do a Move With Me series. I'm not moving, so I don't have to do that series. But I do know some really great ladies that are in the middle of a move. So instead, I'm gonna do a Move With These 3 series. And I'll have 3 ladies on this video that are going to share with you. I'm gonna have a section every time called Carey's Corner. Carey Richmond is moving, and at one time had provided the entire moving itinerary for the Southern Territory, and now there's 10 weeks and some changes since then, and so she's going to walk us through how she's doing that. She gives some really helpful information on this, and then I'll have 2 other ladies that might be the same ones or different ones that will give you some tips and encouragement from where they're coming from in their point of the move. So if you're moving and you're interested in doing a little segment for me, please let me know. If you're subscribed and you're not sure why you're not getting the notifications, then just hit the bell that shows up beside the subscribe. If you are not subscribed, but you don't want to miss any of the series, I do post on Facebook, but sometimes with the algorithm, they don't get on there. So please subscribe and hit the bell, and it will make sure that you get the notifications. I will not blow up your subscription feed. I'm not on all the time, but I am going to do this moving series if you're ready. So, without further ado, I have 3 fantastic ladies that are willing to give you some tips and where they're at in the starting process. So let's get to it.
What is the first thing I do when I know that I am moving? I clean, of course. No, I'm not cleaning the baseboards. I am not scrubbing windows. I am not cleaning blinds. I'm not doing any of the deep cleaning that needs to take place. My first thing that I do is just clean my house. We live in these houses, and when I know that I am moving, I can sometimes jump 10, 20 steps forward, and I'm looking around at the house that I am currently living in, and I see the state that it has to get to in order for us to move out and for the new officer to move in. We are still living in this house. We are not yet ready to move. We still have to stay here. So in order to calm my anxiety and not be so overwhelmed with where we have to be and what our house has to look like, I start just making sure that I can make it less chaos, less messy. Not dirty, but messy. You know, we have things in our house, like I right now have towels on my living room chair that need to be folded up and put away. It's things like that that I will focus on in the first couple of weeks, maybe the first week or so that I then can make that list and start making that list of what I really need to tackle on to start to get the house ready for the new officer coming in. So I clean and I organize and I declutter the house. Then my mind is decluttered, my heart is decluttered, and then I'm ready to actually know what steps I have to take. And then just start taking those one day at a time and not looking at the whole laundry list of things that have to be done, but just one thing at a time. And for me, that is just normal cleaning.
Hi, Lieutenant Amanda here, just doing a little video for my friend Rachel, who is curious as to where I start for moving. Well, let me turn, I don't know if you can turn the camera around. No, you can't turn my camera around. So first I started with totes. That's my first thing, is to go and get totes. And I've started on the bookshelves and things like that, removing the books off the bookshelf. But today I am going to be cleaning some baseboards, because you won't imagine how dirty my baseboards are in the kitchen. Now the rest of the house, they are okay, but not in the kitchen. Somehow I miss the baseboards in the kitchen, and I was looking at them the other day. Horrible. Like, I was embarrassed, completely embarrassed, because I am one who likes to clean. So first I'm getting my bucket, and I like to use Pine Sol. So some people don't like Pine Sol, but I do. I love the smell of lemon Pine Sol. So I'm going to fix my bucket. So I'm going to fix my bucket of lemon Pine Sol. Scented, fresh lemon scented Pine Sol. Now in a bucket this size, I'll probably use 4 to 5 capfuls with hot water. I have my rag I was using yesterday. My water's not hot enough. It was hot, I promised. I turned it on before I started recording my video. Rachel's gonna have a laugh at this one once I'm done. Okay, so I filled my bucket with hot water and lemon scented Pine Sol. And now I'm going to clean my baseboards in the kitchen. These are ones that look just like the cabinets. So I don't really like that I'm gonna show you all, but my baseboards, they are not clean. Up under the cabinet is not clean. And I'm completely embarrassed that they are not clean. So, hands and knees, elbow grease, that's what does it for me. So I've finished my kitchen baseboards. Now I'm going to move on to the hallway. Now the reason I do baseboards now is because I'm going to be way too busy to even think about baseboards later. They are something that gets forgotten, and it's something that can hold a lot of dirt and grime. And yeah, we might dust it with the broom or throw the mop across them to make sure they get somewhat clean, but really do we disinfect the baseboard? So one thing in the hallway that I'm going to also make sure I get is that vent cover that goes to your air conditioning and heating unit. I don't think I've cleaned that, but maybe once or twice since we've lived here. The guy comes in and changes the filter for me and knocks the dust off, but has it really been wiped down? Probably not.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Carey's Corner. It looks like some of us have gotten the call and we are preparing our next chapter in our journey in officership. Some of you are moving for the first time. Some of you have been doing this for a little while, but I always love to help and encourage those who are wanting to figure out how to make this as easy and as smooth as possible. So throughout the next few weeks, you'll get to hear what I'm doing, what I'm preparing for as I am getting our family ready for the next phase. So the list that I originally wrote probably about 15 years ago was based upon when we were had about 6 weeks to move between when we got the call and when we are actually moving. And this year we actually have about 10 weeks to get ready and prepare for the transition. So the list that actually comes to you as an addition to the brief is something that I prepared for myself and for my friends, and now the THQ has decided that that's something to help you with. So I hope that it is helpful, but it's not the be all and end all. There are several friends of mine who have moved and do it very well. I know that some utilize a color coding system when they're packing up their belongings and that kind of thing. Others are like me, and we just use painter's tape and a magic marker and label our tubs. I don't use very many cardboard boxes at all. We have invested in those Rubbermaid totes throughout the years. And so you'll notice throughout that when I'm doing videos that we have those already ready to go. So for the moving prep list that you have, and we'll make sure that you get that if you don't have it already. This week, I'm just preparing to register my daughter for school in the next location. If you have children that are daycare age, this is a little bit easier because you aren't, there's not really any hurry to get your address changed and that kind of thing. Once you hit school aged, that most school districts require proof that you live in that area and that zone. So you're going to have to do things very quickly when you get to your next place, like get your license changed, make sure that bank statements and cell phones have hopefully your name and the address of your location on there. I know for registering for public school, sometimes we've had to have a letter written by the DC informing the school that we are located at the address that our quarters is located at, and so forth. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Because my daughter will be attending a private school for her junior and senior year in our next location, I don't have to worry so much about the address changes, but we do need to make sure that her immunizations are up to date for the new state that we're in. I went ahead and printed off the new state immunization form so that our doctor can make sure that they fill that out. Also, we are already reserving our moving truck. Because our divisional headquarters is requesting to go ahead and estimate what our moving expenses will be and have those approved. Most divisions do request that now. We went ahead and reserved our truck, and then we also uploaded our estimated moving expenses into TSAM. Every division is different. When this first started, we were serving in Florida, and we just had to send in an email to the GS letting them know what we expected our moving expenses to be, what our moving plan was. So just make sure that you touch base with your division to see what they request. They just want to know that you are going to plan for and budget for those expenses. If you are purchasing cardboard boxes, which are acceptable, it's just a preference we don't have, but that's certainly something you can do. U-Haul, you can actually purchase those or order those boxes, and then they will buy back what you did not use. So just keep that in mind wherever you buy your boxes from, that if you aren't sure how many, just overestimate how many you need, and then they'll buy back the boxes that you don't need. We also start requesting our doctor's records now. And for me, I had a really hard time with doctors ever forwarding information to the new doctor. So I just request copies of everything. I actually keep a notebook, and it has every doctor's record for our kids especially. And now I've gone digital. I have scanned all of those in, but I do go ahead and request to have those given to me personally, and that's what I hand to the next doctor when we move to our next location. cancel any appointments that have been made. A lot of times your eye doctor appointments and your dentist appointments are scheduled 6 months to a year in advance. So go ahead and call them as you're requesting your documents. Go ahead and just cancel those so that they can fill those spots for other people in your community. I would, though, encourage you to make any last appointments for camp physicals. If your child is going to attend camp, whether it's in the current division you're in or if you're moving to a different division or different state, go on and get those camp physicals done, get your immunizations up to date so that you have all of that prepared for the beginning of school. The last thing that I have done already is I've gone on and taken all of our wall decor down and packed that up. Now, I don't have a whole lot, but some of you may. That is something that gives you joy, and so you have a lot of that in your home. Go ahead and start, especially the rooms that are unused in your home, go ahead and start packing that, and that'll be one less thing that you have to do in the coming weeks, especially if you're needing to do any painting. One other thing to note, down on that list, I think that I have it like in week 4 or week 3, is to go ahead and start making those calls for contractors to come out for any repairs that you need, any cleanings that you need. I would go on and recommend that you start those now. That is because it seems like there's a delay in those type of things. Construction supplies are in high demand. So I would not wait until a month out. I would go on and start scheduling those now. Even if you're scheduling your carpet cleaning for the week that you move, that's fine, but go on and make those calls and schedule those now so you can get that done as well. It does seem like a lot. I would also start going on and filling out your brief. If you haven't already, I know that many of you probably do that on a yearly basis anyway, so it's not as hard to update that. If you don't have the template for the new brief, make sure that you contact your divisional staff. They'll be sure to get that to you. I know that in our division, our finance or business secretary, he is the one who gave that to us. So somebody in your division, whether it's the DC or someone else that's assigned, will be able to get that to you. Next week, we're going to talk about even more things that we need to get done to finish well. And it's so important that we do that so that those that are following us won't have to worry about things. We'll talk about things to go on and pre-fill out. But for now, just know that you are loved and that you are prayed for and that you're not alone in this. There is a lot to do, but if we start now, then the last few weeks of this process, you'll be able to enjoy the last parties and last get-togethers with family and friends and neighbors and your core family especially. And so if we're heavy in all of this now, then when it comes to the move, the last days, it should be smooth sailing. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in.
I love what these ladies have shared. Thank you so much for being willing to do that, to speak out to others, to show us some of your vulnerable spots in your house. I know that we try to get everything clean before company comes over, and I'm putting it out on the World Wide Web. So I definitely appreciate you for doing that. I will tell you on this video, one of the things Carey had mentioned, if you have daycare, it may not be as daycare aged kids, it may not be as imperative for you to get your information. That is true. But I will tell you, in both of my appointments that I've moved to with children, the first one, there was only like 3 daycares in the town, and the second one, there's lots of childcare, but like come spring break, those mamas are on it. So both places were hard for me to get childcare for the summer when I moved there. So if you do have daycare age children, go ahead and call. And if you're close enough, it's almost worth going to visit to make sure you feel comfortable with where your babies are going to be. If you don't get somewhere, don't stress about it. Your kids are still part of your ministry. So in the summer, you'll be pulling that part of the ministry around with you. Let me know if there's something specific you want to hear about for moving, a certain thing that you hate to clean, a certain system that you might, if you're interested in the color-coded system that Carey was talking about, if you want to hear more from certain ladies, if there's somebody you know that's moving and you want to throw them under the bus and give me that name so I can get them on here with some of their tips that they have. Let's just help each other get through this time. We are here for you. We are praying for you if you're moving. And don't forget, enjoy this crazy calling.